Y'all want to see something that stains my soul? I guess I just kind of wanted to do a video, maybe call it a vlog or something, about the new chassis project that I started a couple years ago. So this was a bit of a passion project, you know, an idea that built up in my mind for so long that it actually started to come to fruition, and I made, as you can see, pretty good progress on it in the first 6 months or so. Spent a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of ambition on this, the idea of a K30 trophy truck, you know, a trophy truck with you know, a poor Texas boy's budget. So my last 1450 truck, I just call it 1480. It was a never-ending cycle with that race truck, that, you know, I would upgrade something, the next thing would break, and over and over and over for years that kept happening. You know, toward the end of its life, it was a very accomplished chassis. You know, it was a really badass truck, but it just wasn't up to par with what I'm capable of doing. And so as I transitioned into doing this fab work stuff for a living full time, it just didn't make sense for me to show up to the races talking about, yeah, I can build these things, this is what I do, because you can't really look at that truck and go, is this what you do? Well, man, that's what I did 6-7 years ago. You know, I'm way better now. And so I set out to build this chassis and just apply, I mean, just throw the kitchen sink at it, you know, just apply myself everywhere, applying all of the knowledge and skills that I'd built over the years with, you know, my race program and being a fabricator for a living, and just a real 1450, real modern 1450 steel cab truck. And when it came to this time to decide about a cab, it was a no-brainer to just grab one of my dad's rusty square body cabs off the hill and chop it up. And whenever, you know, later on in life, when I finish this thing, I want my dad to paint it up the way he would do a regular square body, but, you know, with all the big fiberglass and everything, and help me match the grill and headlights. And so this is 86 GMC 1-ton cab. I think it used to be a dually. I want my dad to help me make this thing a real 1-ton trophy truck. I went as far as I could on this, off the dimensions that I had, and I built all this stuff out, and I got to the point where where I had the basic dimensions of the spindle, but I just needed hubs to be able to, you know, slide a wheel over and check track width and scrub radius and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And I had torn down 1480 to, what's the term, harvest the good components out of that truck, like all the shocks, the engine, transmission, the GPS, you know, all the good stuff that I had thrown at it over the years, to reuse in this chassis. After tearing 1480 down, I stacked up the parts, and I figured out that axle housing over there on the floor, that axle housing is bent from the many times that we've, you know, damaged a hub or lost a wheel and stuck the axle in the ground at speed. So then I had to order up an axle housing, which required a little bit of, you know, time to save up the money to do it, and ended up ordering the hubs for the front and the axle housing for the rear, so that I could, you know, get all 4 wheels on the thing and set wheelbase, and, you know, just still working on the geometry of the chassis and the turn radius and blah blah blah. But it took 16 or 18 weeks or something like that to get the hubs and the housing here. And I guess the point of this video is I just kind of wanted to walk around with the camera and talk about it and explain that this thing is not abandoned. I have not lost hope on this project. It is still, I've been keeping up with the rust. It hasn't really rusted. It's really dirty right now because I've been working beside it, but I've been keeping it cleaned up. I have a lot of parts stacked up for this thing. There's the brand new axle housing, the brand new hubs. There's the old hubs that are gonna go on this axle housing, and there's the Evan Weller third member there. Everything up under this chassis table is harvested parts from 1480, like the big billet sway bar arms, the CBR radiator setup, mission 5 turbo 400, and there's 4 of the 8 wheels that I have. I have everything to go all the way to the point where I can set it on the ground as a roller. It's a matter of making the time to do the work. I mean, I have the tubing and everything on the rack to build the basics of the back half once I can get the axle located. The remaining big expenses is going to be the house steering rack and all 4 front shocks. I need 14-inch race series king coilovers and 3.5 bypasses to match the rear. It's really not that big of an endeavor, you know. Like, it's gonna happen. All the real hard work is pretty much done. You know, the geometry. Today I am cleaning this chassis table off to get this chassis off the table, because I have a customer that wants me to build a chassis kit for him on his drag truck. And you know, me being ambitious, I told him that I would get my stuff off the table and get his on there and build it out. And so yeah, I wanted to walk around this with the camera before I take it off the table. Of course, when it comes off the table, I'm going to clean everything up, sand it down, and hit it with some PB Blaster, some WD-40, and preserve it. But this thing is gonna happen, and I hope you guys are paying attention to see it happen. This is about 6 months worth of work spread out over the course of a year and a half or so, and I haven't touched this thing in like 9 months. But yeah, I'm gonna get this thing off the table and spend a few months building on another chassis, and as soon as that one's gone, I am gonna put this thing back on the table. I think that's enough rambling. I'm gonna post this on my YouTube and kind of document, you know, here's what is today, May the 24th, 25th. Today is the 25th of 2025, and my baby, my life accomplishment here is coming off the table to be put even further into hiatus mode. Comment down below, tell me what you think of this chassis. Be sure and subscribe. I'm sure I'll start doing, you know, a video series on this thing when I get back on it here in a few months. Get a good look at it, because it's real and it exists, but it's not going to look like it for a while I work on somebody else's stuff, trying to make enough money and build my business to the point where I have the stability to work on this thing. That's it for the vlog today. Thank you guys for watching. Comment below, tell me what you think. This is just a junkyard 6-liter. I pulled the oil pan because we're gonna have to change pans for the you know, Y frame. That's a 14 gauge mock-up mid plate, and that is a gutted 400 housing. Got some half 28 bungs welded through the tube.